आरबीआई गवर्नर कुछ कह रहे हैं, उसके बाद आपके सवाल का जवाब देंगे।
India's macroeconomic fundamentals. At the same time, the Reserve Bank has not lost sight of its objective of growth. For example, before COVID, when growth was slowing, and even in recent months, when inflation has been benign and growth needed to be supported, the Monetary Policy Committee reduced the policy repo rate. And so we will continue to conduct monetary policy with the primary objective of price stability, keeping in view the objective of growth. Coming to regulation of banks and NBFCs, they still continue to occupy a very, very major portion of our credit needs. 73% of the total credit needs in our country, for credit needs, 73% of the total credit needs in our country, they are satisfied, met by the entities which are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, including the banks. The banks contribute about 53%, the remaining 20% coming in from the NBFCs, the HFCs, the All India financial institutions, and others. This shows the importance of the RBI regulated entities in meeting the credit needs of the economy, and it has been our endeavor to regulate these entities with an aim to ensure that the financial system remains healthy and grows sustainability. Regulation, I would like to mention over here, is that it's akin to friction. If friction is too less, which some people will demand, one will fall while walking. And if it is too much, on the other hand, it will certainly impede progress. Regulations provide the necessary friction to promote financial stability and safety of depositors' hard-earned money. However, stringent regulations may impede growth of the economy. The art of regulation making lies in finding the right balance between safety and growth, the right amount of friction, in other words. Pursuit of this balance or optimal regulation has always been our constant endeavor in the RBI. And so we have followed now 5 principles in our regulation making. You're all aware of these 5 principles. I'll not go into the details of those principles. First of them is that we have now moved more towards principle-based regulations rather than being prescriptive or rule-based. We have espoused the idea of proportionality to strike a balance between the costs and benefits of regulation. Impact analysis, I may mention here, is an integral part as to how it's going to impact each and every regulated entity, be it small or big. We have been consultative in our approach. We do various outreach programs. We have started the Connect to Regulate platform through which we reach out to all our stakeholders and the general public seeking suggestions on our regulations. Fourth, we have attempted to be evidence-based, data-driven as far as possible. We gather a lot of information. I think there has been a feeling that there is a lot of information seeking that is happening now from the RBI, but information is important for decision making, and I would request all the regulated entities to kindly assist us and provide us this information as quickly as possible in our endeavor to improve our regulation making. Fifth, we have been agile. We have adapted with change in context. We have course corrected with availability of new information and evolving landscape. And we have not hesitated in relaxing a stringent rule once deemed necessary if the context changes and the cost-benefit balance reverses. What we do as a matter of practice has now been institutionalized. As all of you are aware, recently we had issued the framework for regulation making, which codifies this approach, including these 5 principles that I mentioned. Even this year, we have taken a number of we have taken out a number of regulations, urban cooperative banks, risk weights to NBFCs, the provisioning requirements for government guaranteed security receipts, priority sector lending guidelines were revised to boost credit factors. For the LCR, it will hopefully release liquidity of about 6 percentage points. Similarly, we have come out with comprehensive and rationalized regulatory framework for investments in alternative investment funds, co-lending, non-bank, non-fund-based facilities, project finance, and gold loans. All these are examples of how we have been agile, we have been consultative, evidence-oriented, principle-based, and proportional in our regulation making. Going forward, we will continue with this approach. Our focus will be threefold. First and foremost, we will continue strengthening financial stability. This is our primary objective. This is the foundation on which this whole system is built. And so we do intend to implement the Basel III guidelines for market. They're already the draft is already there. Similarly, credit and operational risk from 1st April 2027, for which credit risk and ECL-related draft guidelines are now proposed to be issued soon. The remaining are already issued in one form or the other. Similarly, the forms of business circular is also planned to be finalized quickly. Second, we will endeavor to enhance ease of doing business. A lot of this has been talked about, and the government is also on its part doing its bit, having set up some task forces for enhancing doing of business, both at state as well as at central level. We have already in this regard rationalized a number of our regulations. The number of returns that regulated entities have to submit to us is an example of this. And now we are in the process, as I mentioned earlier, of consolidating all the regulations, and we have lots of them, thousands of them, into few regulations so that it becomes simpler, easier for you to comprehend and understand. In our pursuit for making principle-based framework, I would like to mention here